Hello everybody, how is it going? So, today we have more of the 3v3. These are the teams real quick. We got Purple Luffy, Sakazuki, NL versus Purple Luffy, Sakazuki, and Katakuri. So, pretty much almost all mirror matches, except the NL versus Katakuri. Yeah, I'm interested for that match, but that isn't what we have today, sadly. We have the Purple Luffy mirror, which, I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna go, honestly. We'll see. This is player one's hand. Got the vanilla, got blocker law. He kind of immediately... Oh, is he mulliganing? He must be mulliganing. Psych, that was not his hand. But, yeah, I have no idea how this mirror goes. I feel like it's almost... It feels like it might be a bit sacky, honestly. Just depending on who goes first, who goes second. I don't know... I assume Luffy prefers to go first, because, you know, your turn 2, you ramp 1, play a vanilla or the ulti, and then depending what you played, if you just played a vanilla next turn, you take another life, play 7-drop kid, and then 9-drop, and that's usually your curve. But going second, that sounds also very good, of just turn 2 playing like a Magellan, and that could definitely mess up your opponent. So, we'll see how it goes. We did get a look at the other Purple Luffy's hand. We saw Eustass, an ulti, I'm trying to remember now. We'll see as they cut to the game. Players are just getting sorted out. I thought he dropped a card, but now he is getting in the gamer stance right there. I like that. Getting comfy. Alright, let's see his hand. He has ulti, page 1, he has the combo. Law, Eustass, and the vanilla, I think it's Bins. It's the film vanilla. So, right now, I think just the other Luffy having 7-drop kid seems like he's in a better position, but obviously Purple Luffy is like Whitebeard, they kind of draw 2 a turn, so it's not unlikely that he will find a 7-drop kid. So yeah, we'll definitely just have to see how it goes. I'm also curious on who won the dice roll, or I think they do rock, paper, scissors, so whoever won that, who gets to choose the turn order. Also, that's a manga 5-drop kid, that's awesome. I can't wait for OP05. I think it's so cool that there's 3 manga rares. I really want the 5-drop kid. The Gear 5 one is definitely cool, but I don't see myself really playing the card, but I do see myself playing the kid. Also, of course, 3-drop law. Either one would be awesome, but I feel like the kid is the most generic because there's a ton of good purple decks now after OP05, so we will definitely see. But getting into the match, it looks like our player on the left has to go first. They'll just pass. I believe that's just what both of them are going to do. Yep, draw 2 Dawn, pass. Alright, so draws into a Magellan. Okay, that sounds good, but he does not get to play it on curve. Unless he like ultis here, then it technically is on his curve. But we'll see what he does. Ramps 1, attacks for 5. Wonder if there's a reason he ramps before swinging for 5. I doubt there is a reason. Probably just doesn't really matter. Taps 4, plays down the vanilla. Okay, so opting not to do the ulti page 1, which it's interesting, honestly. I feel like that's really, really strong, but maybe you just want to get to your 7 Dawn turn as fast as possible. But right now, I feel like you don't have the 7-drop. Sure, you can definitely find it, but we'll see. Luffy on the right, swinging for 5, gets countered by another vanilla, and then he drops down the manga kid. Okay. Going back to player on the left, he picks up a 7-drop kid. Okay, so good thing he didn't do the ulti, because now this turn he can play that 7-drop kid, and that is very, very strong. I think, yeah, so it's gonna use leader. Picks up is that a Magellan? I believe that's a Magellan. He's kind of blocking it right now, but attack for 6 with his Bins. Looks like it's going to be countered by a 2K. Understandable. Tapping 7. Yep, playing the kid. Putting back a Dawn, and now we are Whitebeard for the time being. Attack another 6 at lead. You might take this one, honestly, because I feel like if you're going second, you you can like take 1 life and you're on a really good curve, right? But looking like he wants to counter, and he does. Drops another 2k, I think that's the Frenosuke. Picks up a ulti for turn, gets his 2 Dawn. So he's now on 7 as well, so he can definitely just drop the 7 drop as well. And he actually has Blocker Kid, so I think it's a little bit better than our player on the left, but that's alright. for honestly, it's like, it's so neutral right now that I don't really know who's going to be winning after this 7 drop kid comes down. Yep, plays it, uses the effect, puts 1 back, immediately gets it back from the 5 drop kid, gives it Dawn the leader, attacks for 7, I assume at life. I think this deck kind of plays like Whitebeard, where you kind of just ignore board and keep attacking at life. Does feel a little bit weird taking that life, because you'll be on 2 life, your opponent will be on 4. So I imagine he will counter this, because it is just a 2k. Yep, drops the ulti. Turn gets passed, and this purple Luffy now should be on 9 Dawn, or 8 Dawn, because he -1 with Kid. Can get to 9 with leader effect if he wants to. Doesn't look like he has the 9 drop Kaido in hand though, so probably will opt not to do that. 9 drop Kaido would be sick here, because you just pop the Eustass blocker, you get 4 good attacks in. It's too bad. 9 drop Kaido is kind of good. So yeah, I guess just asking how many Dawn his opponent has. Is on 7 right now, will be at 9 next turn. Thinking about his play, I imagine you want to get the Eustass down. He did hover over it. Law will not get his effect, the blocker Law, but it's still a blocker. I imagine you just hold it for later if you need to survive a turn. Playing the Eustass just sounds like the best play, and then he'd have 3 Dawn remaining, so he kind of separated like that. I didn't even realize. So I imagine that's the play this turn, but attacks for 6 with the bins. I imagine you gotta take at least 1 hit this turn if you're the player on the right, unless you want to go really, really low in hand size. If you have a blocker, you're pretty safe. Like, to be fair, that blocker does get hit by 9 drop Kaido. So I am curious what he decides to do. Drops a 2k. That's fair. Maybe you just take the Eustass hit and maybe block the leader hit, maybe? But player on the left picking up 5 Dawn. I imagine 5 drop Kid is coming down. Let's see. Definitely thinking about it. He could play that Magellan, but does it do much? Because player on the right has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He has 7 Dawn right now. He'll be at 9. So if his opponent Magellans, he'd be at 8, and then he could still ramp to 9. So yeah, I don't think it's worth playing that Magellan. Does play the Eustass blocker. And the rest of it, I mean, he does re-ramp 1 here, so he could play like a 4 drop as well. Attacking for 8. I imagine this life will be taken. Yeah. I don't think, again, I don't think any, hey, that's a trigger. I don't know what it does though. That's the 0 cost event, right? I'm curious what that does. I was just gonna bring up that, like, this deck doesn't really have triggers, but then we immediately see a life that does have a trigger. That's cool. Good to know that some lists are playing that card. Just attacking for 6 with leader into 6, I imagine. Like, do you take this, or do you actually drop another card? Dropping another card feels so bad, only having 4 cards in hand, and you aren't really winning on board at this point. Our only good play for next turn is just play another 5 drop Kid. And I mean, if that's, yeah, I mean, if he thinks it'll get him there, I don't blame him, but I feel like taking this life isn't the worst idea. Just to see what we have. Maybe I'm like completely trolling. Let's see. Like, he could drop a 2k if he wants to keep the 5 drop Kid in hand. Nope, opts to take. Alright, I agree with that, honestly. Finds another 7 drop Kid. That's really, really good. That's a great draw. Definitely wanted some more top end there to kind of outboard our opponent, I guess. But I imagine our player on the left will definitely drop either the blocker law or the page 1. Probably don't need to play the blocker law yet. We have the Eustass down. We're still on 3 life. We're pretty safe. Definitely, taking his time. And I don't blame him. This is, again, a bigger tournament. But I imagine it's definitely just play the page 1. But, yeah, I am curious what you guys think about OP05 so far. At least what you guys have seen. I think that this deck is going to be almost like the next Whitebeard. I know a lot of people are saying that, but it definitely feels like that, where it's like on their turn 2, they're already playing these impactful cards, and you're just sitting here playing a couple searchers, maybe dropping a vanilla. So, yeah, I definitely think it's going to be very, very strong. Ooh, finds the 9-drop Kaido off of taking that life. Should have just RNG'd it. Okay, actually, yeah, Ramps 1 plays Magellan. Okay, that's cool. Kind of forces your opponent to take a life if they have their own 9-drop. So, I like that play. That's a good play. Happy he took his time to think that one out. That was a good play. I imagine our player on the right is definitely going to play that 7-drop kid, because we're still pretty safe. We still have a blocker up. Still have 2 life. We're not going to die. We're going to be a 7k leader after playing that second kid. So, I imagine that is the move. But yeah, I feel like this deck, it might not be a problem. I feel like a lot of the other decks are definitely up there in power. Like NL is is very good as well. Just sometimes just can't die. It's very annoying to play against that leader with a deck that like can't go wide. So yeah, I mean, he's very strong. What else is OP05? Sakazuki I think just has some bad matchups, but I think the deck is really, really good, and it's definitely still getting kind of figured out. So I imagine that it's probably just as strong as Purple Luffy and NL. I'm kind of putting them all in the same tier right now. Purple Luffy is probably above at least Sakazuki and maybe NL as well. I'm not too sure. Can't tell you until we have the cards and get some time to play with it. Obviously we have sim testing, but I have kind of been taking a bit of a break from that because I really just want to test Corazon, and there's so many bugs right now with the Corazon deck on the sim that I've taken a bit of a break. But going back to the match, we see player on the right dropping another 7-drop kid, minusing a Dawn and re-ramping it with the blocker kid. So then the rest of your turn is just swinging. That's about all we can do. Ramping 1 isn't going to do anything. We don't have a 3-drop or anything like that. See, our turn is pretty planned out. I guess it's just a question of, do we want to challenge the bins? Do we want to challenge the other set, like his 7-drop? Honestly, I think if you're going to swing at any character, you probably go for the bins, right? Just because it's more likely you'll actually clear that. Because you can go 8, and then you can go like 9. But it wouldn't surprise me if he just continued going for life. Thinking about it. Yeah, what deck are you guys excited for OP05? Obviously, I'm very excited for Corazon. I don't expect the deck to be meta or anything like that, but I'm just going to continue playing Red-Green Law if I want to play a competitive deck and when I want to have some fun. And yeah, Corazon is definitely not bad. Like, it can win games. It's just not as, I guess, oppressive as the top decks. But I mean, 8-drop Kid is very annoying. And if you don't have an out for 8-drop Kid, that card is not fun to play against. I'll give it that. I'll give it that. It's like the one Floodgate One Piece has, or I guess had. Now we have like Birdcage, and that card is basically, it is a Floodgate straight up. But there are ways to play around it. Kid, it's just kind of like, you got the out? No. Alright, then you got to deal with it by just swinging at it, which is a pain. But also, speaking of Birdcage, I was testing some OP05 Green Purple Dofi. I do have some games. I don't love either of the lists I was playing. I feel like they were both kind of suboptimal. So I haven't uploaded them yet. I know someone was asking me to test them out, and yeah, I was down. I think I love the Doflamingo cards. I just think all the new green cards are really cool. So I was down, but I just don't think the list is there yet. So yeah, give me a little bit. I'm gonna see if I can find a list I really like, or make some changes to the lists that I've tested to make them hopefully better, or at least more to my liking, I guess. But Luffy swinging 9 at I imagine life, because the Eustass did go into life as well, and player on the left did take that hit from Eustass. And you gotta defend this, right? You can't go down to 0 just yet. Maybe you can. You have another blocker to play next turn. You also have 9-drop Kaido, which is like, I think if you want to play 9-drop Kaido, you probably defend this life, because you can, pop their blocker, maybe swing like 10 at their Eustass. They probably defend, and then you can go the rest into life. Maybe not though. Actually, no, maybe not, because you need 1 Dawn on the Magellan, 1 Dawn on the bins, so it's a little bit awkward. I think he like blocks. Does he have 2 2Ks? No, it doesn't look like that. He has a bunch of 1Ks. So maybe he's just forced to take this and like play it a bit safer. Nope. He is dropping 3 cards, it looks like. One of them has to be a 2K, right? Because this is 9 into 6. Yeah, so one of them had to have been a 2K, right? Yeah, one of them had to have been a 2K. Had to think about it. My bad. And that is the end of the turn for our player on the right. Oh, no, he's swinging with Kid. Oh, he immediately said, nah, I'm not doing that. Is that crazy to swing with the Kid? It might not be. Let's look at his hand. He has the event counter, which is 3K, +1, +2, +2. Yeah, and the event would just discard the Magellan. So he has 8K worth of counter with the 7K leader and 2 life. He like probably lives if he wants to swing with the Eustass. But it's like, do you want to trade 1 more card to risk losing the Eustass? But it definitely might be worth it, because at this point the player on the left would have to drop his blocker law, which I imagine he does not want to do, because that's the play for next turn. Or maybe even, I mean, I don't know. Dropping that 9-drop seems a little bit scary for the player on the left. Just because, yeah, you get to pop the Eustass, but then you have no guarantee of clearing the 7-drop Eustass. So yeah, bit of a hard spot, I'd say. Player on the right swinging with that Eustass. I'm saying Eustass a lot. I'm sorry. There's just 2 really good Eustass cards, and there's a lot of them on the board. And a player on the left does drop that law to 1K out of that. Yeah, I mean, you kind of had to defend that. Now you're probably committed to just playing the 9-drop Kaido and seeing just where it takes you, unless we see a better draw. So yep, passing it over. Purple Luffy should now be on, is it 10 Dawn? Yeah, it's 10 Dawn, okay. Picks up a Queen. That's a good draw, in case he wants to play it more safe and doesn't want to play that 9-drop Kaido. But with like no counter in hand after playing Queen, I guess Queen could find you like some 2Ks, some 1Ks, anything really, if he just wants to do that and just swing a whole lot. Has 4 attacks, technically 5 if he wants to swing with Eustass, but I imagine you don't want to do that with so few cards in hand. So I'm just going to plan out how much Dawn he has to give to all his characters. Swinging into a 7K leader is very annoying. He's almost up to 8-drop Kid. Almost. So attacking for 9. Definitely a life. There's no way you swing anything else here. The player on the right can get out of it. I imagine he's like definitely has to take one of these hits. Doesn't have a blocker. Might end up going to 0 this turn. Nah, I mean, if he wants to drop like his whole hand, he definitely can defend a lot. But maybe if you take this one, you're kind of committed that like you will go to 0, I think. This is a 2K and a 1K. Okay, opts to take it. no trigger. Gets another 2k counter, so that's solid. And just defending this turn. Gonna swing 9 at lead using the 7-drop effect, putting back a Dawn, and then re-ramping it. Once again, a little bit. It's a good numbers, you know. 2k above, so it's 2 cards to get out of this. Still has there's 2. He still has 7 Dawn active. I don't think he has enough to kill here. I don't think he can go for lethal. Is probably just gonna end up playing that queen. Or he might just commit and say, nah, I can't live even if I play this queen. Which is also a fair call. It's a tight spot. So it looks like he is going to counter out of this. If you take this, you have to deal, like, the biggest swing would be 13. And you do definitely get out of a 13, right? Yeah, you get out of that pretty easily. It's 4 cards from hand, but if they want to commit like that, that's cool. But then you have to go for game. But which you probably can, though. You probably can go for game if you're the player on the right, because they'll play queen, have 2 cards in hand. I guess, you know, they are a 6k leader, though. You'd have 4 swings. Yep, opts to take it. Says if you want to just all in, that's fine. I will live. Puts 1 Dawn down. Maybe just gonna poke with the leader. Get a card from his hand. I don't know what this 2k does on screen right now, but I have C. I think both of them are playing it right now. I'm not sure what it does, though. Okay, it looks like he's attacking for 9 again. Okay. Asking for 2 more cards. Looks like we're dropping the Gum Rain and the Magellan. Or we can just drop a bunch of 2Ks. Either one. So then he still has... Or is that more than... It might be more. He's kind of like stacked the Dawn, so he might be swinging for more than 9. Oh, okay, we get to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, what? No, 6, right? No, that's 7. Wait, I'm bad at counting. Was that 6 or 7? I'm so sorry. Anyways, our player on the right can get out of this. It's not that big of a deal. And then swing 7 one more time. And, yep, we'll just drop the 1k. Yep, dropping the Eustass blocker. And yeah, committed to the all-in. Has to deal with 4 swings, potentially 5 if they find the 9-drop Kaido, but they did not. See, I imagine our player on the right is going to go for game now. Yep, I mean, had to go for it, right? Had to at least try if you don't think you're surviving with the queen and the Eustass, which is fair with very little counter in hand, and no guarantee you'll find more off of queen. So just mapping out some Dawn here. We're definitely swinging with the Eustass blocker. We definitely just go like 8 here to check with the Eustass blocker and just see what he does. That also gives us a Dawn to put back and then, you know, regain off of one of the 7 drops. Yeah, this is, so yeah, checks with the 8. Do you have a 2k and a 1k? And if you do you want to go down to 1 card in hand, you know? And as we can see, he does not have a 2k and a 1k. And finds a Magellan off life, so he really has very little counter. Swinging 10 with the Eustass and then restanding that Dawn. It'll get blocked with the other blocker Eustass. And then swinging a whole lot on the other Eustass. All these Eustasses. And we are... Okay, saves 1 Dawn for his leader, but does return. And that is the game. Our player on the right gets it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was definitely a game. I'm trying to think, like, what went wrong. Maybe he could have survived that turn, but I don't think so. I think it was correct to just try to go for game. What else are you going to do? But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one, which I think will have Eno in it, which I'm excited for. But yeah, see you guys next time.